Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Ray Garvin, joined by my man Kyle Krabs. This is Show Your Work over on the Draft Network, and we are excited today because we are going to talk about a quarterback prospect that we will get to see up close and personal here in Mobile in, Kyle, a couple of weeks, right? A couple of weeks we'll be there, and we'll
be here before we know it, man.
Yeah. Before we know it, we've got Jaren Hall on tap, the quarterback from BYU. Just a quick synopsis of who this player is as far as measurables. Listed at 6'1", 205 pounds. Has been at BYU since 2018. His past two seasons, 2,500 yards minimum over the last two seasons. Throwing 66% completion percentage. Last year, 31 touchdowns, 31 TDs, 6 interceptions, and 3,100 yards passing. Last year, Kyle, we got a couple of clips. Let's just talk through Jaren Hall, who the player is, and what we think what we think we might see here in Mobile in the next couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and pull it up and get it cracking and take a look at Jaren Hall. Kick it off, Kyle.
Yeah, let's do this. So Jaren, really exciting player when you look at his natural ability as a passer. This is a money throw for BYU. And if you remember when Zach Wilson was back at BYU too, they love these outs to the field. And if you had to ask me to put what is Jaren Hall's best throw, anticipation, timing, velocity, I mean, this is routine pitch and catch, but you've got an outside leverage corner at the snap of the ball. Look at, like, he's made the decision to throw well before the receiver gets to the top of the drop there, and this thing is right on the money. He has a lot of really nice anticipation style throws throwing outside. The numbers here is just one of the hallmark throws that he has as far as clubs in the bag.
Yeah, I'm with you, and we'll see. I think we may see a couple of more of these type of throws as we progress on through the film. So got another one with Hall. Here we go.
Yeah, this one, high red zone. Could you find a better spot to put the football here? So again, just going back to arm talent, Ray, and this dude can really pop the ball. Former baseball player. He actually played on BYU's baseball team for a couple of seasons, including the year before he was inserted as the full-time starting quarterback in 2021. Like, he was on the baseball team playing baseball for BYU. So you see off-platform, you see natural ability to zip the ball all over the field. And again, this is another field throw. You know, you talk about the hashes thrown from the far hash.
Whew.
You tell me, and that is a touchdown. Upon further review, he does get the foot in right there, and that's what the kids call dimes these days. I think is what they're calling.
That's what I think so. That is a. I mean, Kyle. I don't want to undersell this one. This is an impressive throw.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
He put
over
that
the outside shoulder too.
That's an impressive throw right here from this kid. That is an NFL caliber throw right there from Jaren Hall. All right,
I think it important.
Go ahead,
Ray.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of this is from the gun, but I want you to get to your point, because I think yours was a little more pertinent to the conversation than where I was going. So go ahead.
Well, no, it's just a matter. This throws against Baylor, right? And we're going to see film clips against Oregon. So I think it's important to note with BYU, and you think about level of competition and asking about it, an independent. They played Notre Dame this year. You have a lot of tape against really high quality competition, and I think that's just an important note for us to have here as we go through these film clips. And think about the Zach Wilson year. Like, the best team they played was Coastal, right? Yeah. Like, that was the best team that they played. Well, I mean, you got like a 7-game sample size over the last 2 seasons of Jaren Hall playing against like legitimate Power 5, 8, 9, 10 win program teams.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, like you said, Notre Dame, Oregon, Baylor. I'm not worried about the level of competition or the players in which he faced. I'm curious if you notice in this tape, and is this something that BYU just schemes, but everything seems to be from the gun. And a lot of the NFL teams do that these days. But just talk to us about this play right here, and we'll get to that other sub point later.
Yeah, so as far as Jaren, when you're looking for areas improvement, I think just general polish is the big thing as a 2-year starter. And that's where kind of the concern comes into play, because this is a guy who took a 2-year mission. He's going to be a 25-year-old rookie quarterback. So the question is, okay, well, how long does he need to reach his mental peak of playing the game of football in the NFL? And how do you transpose that against where he's at with his physical peak? because he's an athlete. Like he's kind of discount Kyler Murray-ish as far as like his ability to run and use his legs. They used him a lot with zone read, but like little routine, like double slant. This throw right here, you can't miss this throw. So I don't know if this is miscommunication with a sight adjust, if he's expecting him to sit down. I really can't explain it, but it's a quick game from the gun. Very easy to get lined up to throw. He's on his platform, right? So are we throwing hitch and the receivers run and slant or an in? I don't really have the answer. But these misses show up a little too often in his tape for you to ignore, to put him in a certain stratosphere of quarterback prospects this year when we're talking about who the upper echelon guys are.
I've noticed the same thing in some of the clips that I added to the end of this film session. We'll also see some of those inconsistencies. I'll say it that way, inconsistencies in his game. Here we go. Another one from the gun. And then he hits those. Then he hits these, Kyle.
And this ain't an easy throw, right? Because that corner's clouded up there, right? Or that flat defender pushes out here. And, he's really routine with his drop. He's comfortable. You can see him get his back foot in the ground.
Yep.
He understands I got to get this ball up and over. I feather this throw with some touch. I think there's some really nice moments of him kind of pulling the string on the football, as the saying goes, to throw up over top of defenders. And, I mean, he's a beautiful thrower of the ball. And that's just another showcase of that. This one against underneath zone coverage to throw another out route right on the money outside the numbers to the field. So it's his money throw, man.
He throws a pretty ball. I'll tell you that. They look good when they leave his hand, right? And I want to include a couple of clips here from the Arizona game and just, some areas of improvement. This is what you call kind of the pro day throw, right? Play action, sets his feet, he has time. And you got to hit this, Kyle, on this one right here. I don't know, again, is it miscommunication? Did the receiver flatten that route out a little too much? Was he anticipating him pushing up towards the 45? But either way, this is a throw that I feel like you got to have this one. You got to have this one.
Yeah, and if anything, if you're going to adjust that throw, when you see you have all that space to the boundary, just lay that thing more flat, right? And let him, you always want a guy to carve back to the football on these crossing routes, unless you definitively have leverage and you're in scramble drill and he's going to spike and get north, which is not the case here. The DB is over top of him. So when the DB has leverage over top of the route, just put that thing closer to the sideline on the 38, right? And let him peel back down to it. So kind of a spatial spot throw. I agree with you where that's a missed opportunity on this throw where it's not like you're throwing with a guy in your face.
Right.
To justify, I didn't get up on top of the ball.
Well, in the same game, right? Play action, little rollout, and you'll see the arm talent off platform. Now, this was an incomplete pass, right? Receiver doesn't catch this ball, but I wanted to put this in here anyway, Kyle, because the platform, that was there for him. That's a tough catch. Yeah. That's a tough catch, but NFL receivers, you'd expect them to make that catch, but on the move, rolling out, pressure in his face. That's a pretty good ball right there.
You know what I love the most about this throw is the fact that this edge defender, he doesn't get outside of him, right? So when you think about quarterbacks throwing outside the pocket, you always want to try to get back downhill, so to say, and get your momentum coming back down the field so that you have your body momentum with you on the throw. This is straight sprint out. Like he's not able to get the hook and come back down the hill. So this is shortstop, slow roller into left field, running away from it, catching it on the run, and then still throwing to first base and throwing the guy out at first base type of like body control, momentum versus your throw. I think that's the thing that really pops about this throw. And Ray, I got to agree with you. I think you'd love to have a guy go down and dig this ball out and make a play for you because he does put this in field of play. And he's got a guy bearing down him that he's got to throw around too. So
it's a good throw, right? Incomplete will never show up in the on the highlight reels, but that's why you're tapped into what we do is because we look at every throw, we look at every rep, and we find the skill set, even if it's an incomplete pass. The final throw that I have on here for Jaren Hall, we looked at him miss an easy one early, and then he hits this one.
Ooh.
Kyle.
Yes.
He hits this one, right? Sets his feet. I mean, you talk about I want you to just talk about this one right here because this is confidence, it's timing, it's accuracy, and just his mannerism in the pocket when he delivers this. It's a confident throw.
Well, you said it, dude. It's all of those things in one snapshot where Arizona doesn't really change the picture on you. They start in the middle of the field open. They stay in cover 2, right? And so, yeah, this hook curl defender's got a really long way to go to ride out the play fake, and then I got to get some depth. But, he's also got that corner to the field that he's got to worry about, too. This ball got to get thrown with some juice. This isn't like the Tua Tagovailoa throw that we did a couple weeks ago or two months ago when he back shouldered a corner and it was on the near hash. This is a far hash throw. He kind of fades his drop to get lined up to throw. But when this thing is out, man, he puts this thing on a rope, and it's a perfect honey hole shot with this corner route right between the corner and the safety and cover 2. Like that's textbook. Yeah. So you talk about the rough around the edges and getting more consistent, and then you get reps like this. And then you see the fact that he's probably going to be a 4.6 athlete. He's had some lower body injuries. He's had some concussion injuries. So there's things to be mindful of is that might put a glass ceiling on where this guy gets drafted. But if you're looking at like the middle class of quarterbacks in this year's class, like this dude's got a lot to work with. This would be a guy I would want to get in my building and try to find out how high can I develop him because the physical ceiling is all there.
I'm with you, and I think the consistency in throwing will be interesting to watch at the practices just to see, because what I don't think either of us are concerned about is how the ball is going to look when it releases from his hand. I think it's going to look good. He throws a tight spiral. I mean, there are literally, Kyle, practice clips of him at practice just throwing the ball and watching the rotation on the football. But it's the consistency, right? His ability to hit the hard throws. I mean, he makes those. It makes them look easy. But the routine, whether it's miscommunication with the receiver or him, that's where I just want to see a little more improvement from Jaren Hall. But when you're talking about a quarterback class, Kyle, where, from top to bottom, all of these quarterbacks have warts, I do think his play in Mobile will be big for his stock through this process.
Well, and as of the time that we are sitting down to show our work on Jaren Hall, we don't know who mystery QB6 is going to be at the Senior Bowl. If there is a big name to come, there's a couple names that are in contention to come down, but we don't know if they're committed yet or not. And if they don't come, you'd have a hard time telling me that this isn't going to be the best quarterback down there at the Senior Bowl.
Right.
And that very realistically could put him in day 2 consideration. When you look at the tape and you cross-reference it, and man, he's like a super high character guy too. Like when you talk about leaders in the locker room and culture guys, he's somebody who has drawn rave reviews for how he's handled his adversity at BYU, where he looked like he was going to be the starter, experiences some injuries, has some tough breaks. But just that physical profile, man, I go back to the Kyler Murray skill set, and I see a lot of parallels with, BYU's running them zone read. He's scoring 50-yard touchdowns against Baylor, like on 4th and 1 near midfield. So you have a lot of really good looks and a lot of really strong natural gifts that I think teams are going to see him up close and in person, and then they're going to get a chance to talk to him down at the Senior Bowl, which is a large part of what that week is all about. And it's really, in my mind, going to move the needle for teams.
Back-to-back seasons with over 300 rushing yards, a long of 56, long of 48, and then 32 a sophomore season. So that plus-level athlete that you talked about, the arm strength is there. We want to see some more consistency from the pocket, but there goes a quick snapshot of Jaren Hall here on Show Your Work. Myself, along with Kyle and the rest of the scouts, will have more information as we get that. There's still a lot of time through this process, but for those of you tapping in for the first time and have never seen Jaren Hall play, there are definitely some tools in which we showed today that make him an intriguing prospect here in the 2023 class. But for Ray Garvin and Kyle Krabs, make sure you follow us both. Follow Kyle on Twitter at Grinding the Tape. You can find me at RayGQ, but most importantly, subscribe to this channel. We are doing so much stuff here at the Draft Network, and we have so many good things Right on the horizon, Kyle. I don't want to spoil it, but right on the
It's
horizon.
close, though.
It's close, baby. So for Ray Garvin, the Draft Network, and Kyle Krabs, until next time, make sure you show your work. We'll see y'all next week. We're out. Peace.